Candace Owens is waking up about the ancient history of the Zionist agenda. I don't know if it's the Tate brothers or who are waking her up, but she's very eloquent and very courageous. So she's like full on out there now talking about the Sabbatean Frankists. I went into that with David Icke on our 9/11 show 2 years ago. And then in my blog on the truth about what's really going on in Israel and Palestine, I went through it again because it's the most important aspect of conspiracy theory that I think hardly anyone on the planet knows about. And it's one of the reasons why, one of the silver linings of the whole Israel-Palestine thing is, it's so tragic. The number of unnecessary deaths that's going on right now is just one of the hardest things in my life ever. And at the same time, I did a blog called Dominoes of Destiny, where I talk about the ruses that are being exposed, starting with COVID and then going to climate change and then the pedophilia and then the banking system and then ultimately going to the myth of authority itself. And I think that what's going on now, particularly with the left splitting over the genocide in Gaza, I think that it's making a lot of people, particularly on campuses, have to go thinking a little deeper than they were politically. And it's my hope that it will be the issue that will catalyze people to go, okay, well, no one's been able to solve this thing in 70 years in the Middle East. So obviously, the money and the power doesn't want it solved. So what's really going on? And I think that is going to lead to, well, okay, how did Israel come into being? And that leads to the Rothschilds, and that leads to the banking scam. And to me, the banking scam is the number 2 plot on planet Earth. And the only reason that the globalists have had the power that they have is because they got the right to print money, and the rest of us didn't. Oops, that's a big oversight. And they've played it about as far as they can. The entire global economy is about to collapse. The dollar's about to collapse. The stock market is about to collapse. And they knew that this was coming. So that's one of the reasons why they're panicking and trying to go so fast right now is because they have to get this one world totalitarian government before people wake up to the banking scheme. Because when people wake up to the banking scheme, they're either going to go all to the BRICS alliance, or they're going to do a tax revolt in the US. And that's going to lead to an understanding of why little Israel, has been controlling the giant United States, because the Rothschilds control the banking. And the central bankers since 1933 have controlled the entire US. I've done blogs on that. We won't get sidetracked on the whole USA corporation right now, but that's why they have so much power. And my hope is that as the banking scheme gets exposed, then the real roots of Zionism get exposed. Then that leads back to, well, how in the world did they get this power to begin with? Oh, the myth of authority. Maybe nobody, we saw through the pharaohs, and then we saw through the priests, and we saw through the kings. We saw through the dictators, but now we still think democracy and a republic is somehow the answer. No, we got to keep going and see through the myth of authority. And I'm hoping that the silver lining of this tragedy in the Middle East is that people are waking up fast now to completing the falling of those dominoes.